Hey guys, this is Mr. A. Crizzy here, and welcome back to another movie review. In today's movie review, I'm going to be doing a movie review on the 2020 film, I Still Believe. I Still Believe is directed by the Erwin brothers and stars KJ Apa, Britt Robertson, and Gary Sinise. And so, the basic story of I Still Believe is, this movie is actually based on a true story, and it's also a Christian movie too. Since I am a Christian, I decided to watch this film, since I've been having interest in watching this film. So last night, I watched it on VOD, Video on Demand, last night before I went to bed. And so anyway, the true story of I Still Believe is about the true life story of Christian music star Jeremy Camp and his journey of love and loss, which attempts to prove that there is always hope. And of course he falls in love with with a girlfriend, and they because the whole movie's basically it's kind of almost like a romantic movie, but while at the same time it's also a Christian movie too. Yeah, so what do I think of it? I remember seeing previews for this film back during the early months of 2020, 2 years ago. And it did look pretty interesting to me. So all the way up until 2 years, excuse me, pardon me, all the way up until 2 years later, I watched the whole movie on Video on Demand, and I gotta say, I still believe I thought it was a good movie. Yes, since I am a Christian, like I said, I enjoyed this movie since I thought it was a good movie. And I thought it had a pretty good and beautiful soundtrack, like the song itself, "I Still Believe" by Jeremy Camp, and I think the actor who played Jeremy Camp, KJ Apa, I think that's how you say it. I thought he was great in this film, along with the other actors who were in this film. They all did a great job too. Like Britt Robertson did a good job, and Gary Sinise, I thought was really good in this film. I think Gary Sinise is probably the best part of I Still Believe. Like Gary Sinise plays like the dad, of course, the father in this film, and I think Gary Sinise did a really good job in this film, and he's definitely the best part in this film. But as the movie progresses, as the movie goes on, this movie is also considered a sad movie too, because as we get into the third act, before the ending, you'll understand what I'm talking about as you watch the movie. Because it is considered a sad movie too, because you'll see what I'm talking about when you watch it. It's kind of like one of those sad movies that I know. There's one sad movie that made my mom cry, which is My Sister's Keeper, that she told me about back in August of 2014. And there's also another one called The Fault in Our Stars, which I've heard of it, but I never saw it. Yeah, but aside from all that, I still believe. I think it was a pretty good film. It was good and a sad movie too, because that's the point. And this movie actually came out during March of 2020. This movie came out the same day as Bloodshot and The Hunt, March 13th of 2020. And so I Still Believe was later released on March 27th of 2020 through Video on Demand, just a couple weeks after its theatrical release. Yeah. So now I watched all three of the March 13th, 2020 releases that right before COVID shut down movie theaters temporarily. I watched Bloodshot, The Hunt, and I Still Believe. All three of them. All three were actually the last theatrical releases of 2020, all the way up until Unhinged was released in August of 2020 by Solstice Studios. So overall, I Still Believe it was a good movie, and I'm gonna give I Still Believe 4 out of 5 stars. So if you're a Christian and if you like Christian movies and all that stuff, and if you haven't watched I Still Believe yet, then I say give this movie a watch. I recommend it. So there you have it, guys. That's going to be it for my movie review on I Still Believe. And that's going to be it for this video, so make sure to give this video a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel if you haven't yet. And as always, thanks for watching, and until next time, this is Mr. A. Crizzy saying goodbye everybody, and that's about it.